Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share a story with you that truly touched my heart. It's a tale about a boy, a dog, and a bond so strong that nothing, not even the wildest dangers, could break it. This is the story of Mark and his best friend, Blue, in a small house nestled right at the edge of a vast green forest, lived a young boy named Mark. Mark wasn't just any boy. He had a companion who was more like a brother to him, a beautiful dog with a coat the color of the twilight sky, whom he lovingly called Blue. From the moment Blue was a small, clumsy puppy, he and Mark were inseparable. They were partners in crime, adventurers in their own backyard, and the best of friends. Their days were filled with simple joys. They grew up side by side, sharing secrets, meals, and countless adventures. Mark would tell Blue everything, his dreams, his fears, his funny thoughts, and Blue, with his intelligent, soulful eyes, would listen, tilting his head as if he understood every single word. Their favorite part of the day was their daily ritual, a long walk through the enchanting forest that bordered their home. Every afternoon, as soon as Mark finished his homework, he'd grab Blue's leash, and Blue would start dancing with excitement, his tail thumping a happy rhythm against the floor. The forest was their kingdom. They knew every winding path, every babbling brook, and every ancient moss-covered tree. For them, it was a world of wonder, a place where their friendship blossomed under the canopy of leaves, with the sunlight filtering through like golden dust. Mark would throw sticks, and Blue would bound after them with boundless energy, returning them with a proud wag of his tail. They were safe, happy, and together. It felt like their perfect little world would last forever. But one sunny afternoon, something changed. The air, usually filled with the cheerful chirping of birds, grew strangely silent. Mark and Blue were deeper in the woods than usual, exploring a new trail they had discovered. Mark was laughing, trying to race Blue to a giant oak tree, when a low, guttural growl echoed through the trees, stopping them both in their tracks. It was a sound that didn't belong in their peaceful world. Mark froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He peered through the thicket of ferns, and what he saw made his blood run cold. Standing just a few yards away was a massive bear, much bigger than anything he had ever seen in his books. It stood on its hind legs, its fur bristled, and its eyes were fixed right on him. It let out another deafening roar, a clear warning. Fear, cold and sharp, gripped Mark. He was just a boy, small and defenseless against such a powerful creature. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. All he could do was stare in terror at the approaching danger. In that terrifying moment, when Mark was paralyzed by fear, something incredible happened. Blue, who had been standing beside him, did something that Mark would never forget. Instead of cowering or running, Blue stepped forward. He placed himself directly between Mark and the giant bear. He was just a dog, a fraction of the bear's size, but in that instant he seemed to grow into a fearless guardian. Blue began to bark, not his usual happy bark, but a deep, ferocious sound that echoed with pure courage. He bared his teeth, his body tense and ready. He was sending a clear message to the bear. "You will not touch my boy." The bear was taken aback by this small creature's defiance. It swiped a massive paw, and Blue, with incredible agility, dodged it, continuing to bark and stand his ground, creating a vital distraction. He was buying Mark time, protecting him with every ounce of his being. The confrontation was fierce and chaotic. The bear was powerful, and with another swipe of its claws, it caught Blue on his side. Blue yelped in pain, but didn't back down. He continued to fight, to protect, to be the shield his best friend desperately needed. The commotion was enough. The bear, perhaps frustrated by the dog's relentless courage, or perhaps deciding it wasn't worth the effort, eventually turned and lumbered away, disappearing back into the dense woods. Silence returned to the forest, but it was a heavy, painful silence. Mark, snapping out of his fear-induced trance, rushed to Blue's side. His hero, his brave protector, was lying on the forest floor, whimpering softly. A deep gash was visible on his side, and his beautiful blue-grey fur was stained with red. The sight shattered Mark's heart. Tears streamed down his face, hot and fast. He knelt down, his small hands trembling as he gently stroked Blue's head. "You saved me, Blue," he whispered through his sobs. "You saved me. There was no time to waste." Adrenaline surged through Mark, replacing his fear with a desperate need to save his friend. With a strength he didn't know he possessed, Mark carefully scooped the injured Blue into his arms. Blue was heavy, and Mark's arms ached, but he didn't care. Every step was a struggle, but the thought of losing Blue pushed him forward. He ran, stumbled, and ran again, his tears blurring his vision as he made his way out of the forest and towards the town. He had one destination in mind: the veterinary hospital. He burst through the doors of the clinic, out of breath and crying, "Please, help him. Please, you have to save my dog." The staff saw the panic in his eyes and the wounded dog in his arms and immediately sprang into action. They gently took Blue from Mark's arms and rushed him into an examination room. Mark was left alone in the waiting room, a small, worried boy surrounded by the sterile quiet of the hospital. The minutes felt like hours. Every tick of the clock on the wall seemed to echo the frantic beating of his own heart. He paced the floor, prayed, and replayed the terrifying moments in the forest over and over in his mind. He remembered Blue's bravery, his selflessness, and the thought of life without his best friend was simply unbearable. He felt a deep, aching guilt. Blue had gotten hurt because of him, because he was protecting him. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a kind-faced veterinarian came out to the waiting room. She knelt down to Mark's level, a gentle smile on her face. "Mark," she said softly, "Blue is a very, very brave dog. He's also very lucky. The wound was deep, but we were able to clean it and stitch it up. He's going to be sore for a while, and he'll need a lot of rest, but he's going to be okay. He's a fighter." The relief that washed over Mark was so overwhelming that his knees felt weak. The tears started again, but this time they weren't tears of fear or sadness. They were tears of pure, unadulterated joy. "Can I see him?" he asked, his voice trembling. The veterinarian nodded and led him to the recovery area. There, lying on a soft bed, was Blue. He was bandaged and looked tired, but when he saw Mark, his tail gave a weak but definite thump-thump against the bedding. His eyes, though wary, were filled with the same love and devotion as always. Mark rushed to his side and hugged him gently, burying his face in his soft fur. "Oh, Blue," he cried happily, "you're okay. You're okay." In that moment, their bond was forged anew, stronger than ever, sealed by courage and unconditional love. Blue had not just been a good dog, he had been a hero, and Mark knew with absolute certainty that he had the best friend in the entire world. This story is a powerful reminder that the love we get from our animal companions is one of the purest gifts in life. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share this incredible story with you. If it moved you as much as it moved me, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more heartwarming stories. We'll see you in the next one.